So last night, I'm literally parked at Walmart in my little spot, and this guy pulls up on a bicycle, and right across from where I'm at, gets off his bicycle, sets up a chair, pulls some stuff out of his bag, and starts weaving up a necklace. Right in front of my van. I'm like, damn. God, what should I do? Usually when there's people staying up and not just parking and sleeping, or they're hanging out outside of their vehicle, or they're fiddling around with this or that, or they're loud, or their machines are loud, I just take the van, start it up. I'm not mad. I just get up and go, and I find my happy place. But on tonight's episode, there are many instances where I actually got upset in the past, because this video is about my Walmart experiences, parking at Walmart as a van lifer. I've parked generally at two different Walmarts, one in Charleston, South Carolina, and one in Asheville, North Carolina. And I'm going to share a few of those experiences with me. But last night, I had seen a dude on his bike like pull up before and go into the forest. So I figured there was like a homeless camp back there. I mean, he seemed cool. He went like that. I went like that. So that's cool, right? All my doors are always locked. Anyway, I had seen him go in there before. So when he stopped and set up right in front of my van, I was like, I don't want to be rude. Hey, man, to each his own. You know, if you don't have a van, you're worse off than me. Like, I feel for you, potentially worse off than me. But on the other hand, I want to do the things I want to do, and I don't want a guy sitting making a necklace at 1:30 in the morning or 1 in the morning right in front of my van. The police come and monitor that lot and make sure everybody's safe and there's no hanky-panky going on. And they'll come through, and when they do, they'll stop and talk with him, and then I'll be right there. And even though the cops and I worked together just last night to save some baby birds, I just want to keep myself out of any kind of trouble that I don't need. So I'm here at one of Charleston's beautiful marsh parks. This is just a little county park or city park. There's a beautiful oak there over the marsh, and of course the sun's about to blind you, and it just goes on and on. It's really beautiful here. I'm getting ready to leave, I guess, in about a week. I'm gonna go with the flow on that, but it's starting to get hot. So my Walmart experiences. Oh, and I can't describe to you how anxious I feel when I feel that there might be people listening to my story or watching me do a YouTube video. Like this house right next to the park, they're all home, I can hear them, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, when I parked at Walmart and did this, and peed in my container in my van, So I can't describe to you the anxiety that I feel. And the irony and the funny thing is, of course, I'm making a YouTube video and broadcasting it to the world, potentially to billions of viewers. Potentially. So it's pretty silly. And if that's not one of the biggest lessons in van life, I don't know what is. You gotta not worry about what others think. So I'll go ahead and start my Walmart remembrances here, and I've got a little list to keep me on track up there, and some water, which I'm gonna need in a minute. It's almost 7, and it's really quite hot. It must be 84. So yeah. So the first time I parked at Walmart living in a van was in my first van, which is a 2500 Dodge van. It was pretty awesome, but it was rusted out underneath. The back brakes couldn't even be repaired at that point because someone had jerry-rigged something. And it had sort of the same problem my van now has, something with the engine, and you had to like pump it, and then smoke would come out, and then you had to do all these things. Anyway, so Pie May Dog and I were in that van, and what had happened was I decided to leave my apartment and everything because I just couldn't take it anymore, and we jumped in my Isuzu pickup truck with a shell and went to Asheville for a couple weeks, came back down, and then I got the van within about 2 months or a month and sold the truck like that same day. It was a van life miracle. And so when I was back in this area, I ended up getting this really good job that I had before. I ended up getting it back. And I could bring my dog to my friend's place and go clean this condo and make buco cash. And I had a couple other cleaning jobs as well, so that's what I did. And the whole time I did that in Charleston and just parked at the same Walmart, basically. I had a couple friends' places I would park at as well. Excuse me. But, so at first I was just so scared of people seeing, because I was in that town, working in the town, and I had lived here forever and everybody knew me. And I didn't want everybody to see me in my van at Walmart. So I would park behind these big containers or trucks that would park. And for a long time, they had this one container in the Walmart parking lot, and they didn't move it for a long time. So I usually would get that spot. It's like creatures in the marsh here. I gotta be careful for snakes. And so that was the first part of it, just a lot of fear and sort of embarrassment about it. I need my list already. Yeah, and so when I first started doing that, one of the first things that happened was, I'm using this for suspense, the thing that happened was, there were a bunch of people that were parking there regularly. Get the light here. And one of them was this, and then everybody was starting to know each other, like it was some kind of campground. And they would like go in a circle and talk together and stuff. And I guess it was, yeah, this couple. And they had this truck, but then they had this giant vintage RV that was just sort of parked there. I never saw it actually move or leave. They never hooked it up to the truck. And it was blue and white, and it was just parked there. And at night, they would run these generators to run something in that RV. It was really weird because I didn't know what was going on, but here, I'll give you a few minutes to guess. Yeah, they were probably doing a meth lab in there. Oh my God. Because after I rented a room, I got a phone call from someone that was saying, do you know anything about the events that happened at Walmart on this date? And I hadn't been there then, so I was like, I wasn't there then. See ya. So, yeah, I think they were running a meth lab in there, but these generators running all night. It sounded like washing machines. I was like, are they doing someone's laundry? It was really weird, and they were all suspicious, like, and scared, and like, oh, you looking at me, you know? And like, they were not friendly, happy people. So that was a little bit scary. Yeah, I met this other guy too, who had just, him and his wife had like separated abruptly. And he just, instead of fighting the whole thing or asking for his part in it, in the separation, he just left. And he had these two dogs with him, one little dog and one big dog. And he was kind of staying with this other grizzly bear man in this giant broken down RV that was also parked there quite often. And he was saying he was crazy. He had to get away from the guy, but he had these two dogs. So this local daycare ended up keeping his dogs for him for free. He had to go back up north to a court date to deal with this whole thing he had run away from. So we hung out a couple times in my van, and the grizzly old man also jumped my van one time when I played the stereo for too long. And the manager back then was so cool. So I parked my van there, you know, for the first time I lived in that van was for like 4 months, and I jumped in and out of rooms for the next like year and a half, and then we moved into the van again, and it was like 5 months, if I can remember. And then I ended up getting my last studio apartment I ever had it's been 2 years now in the van this time. Woohoo! So the gnats are getting me. I'm gonna have to keep moving. So where was I? Oh, the manager, he was so cool. So in the winter sometime, the manager, he was just like, are you okay? You know, is there anything you need? He was always like that. And he was a really cool guy. We talked a couple times. But he came up to my van one time. It was supposed to be like 32 degrees in Charleston. And in Charleston, that's like super freezing. So I hear this knock on the side of my van, and I open up the little triangle window. I see it's him. And I'm like, hey. And I've got the van running and the heat running just to keep it warm enough to be in the van with me and Pie, my dog. And he's like, and I was like, at first I didn't answer. You know, you don't have to answer the knock. And I was like, ugh. And I thought I might be in trouble. And he said, no, he was just coming to check on me and make sure I was all right. Isn't that awesome? That was the Walmart manager here in the Charleston area. And so that was really sweet. He kept talking. I think he was interested in me, actually. Or thought he, I always say they think they are. They just don't, you know. It's the type of guys that I'm interested in never seem to really notice me or take me seriously, but all these like conservative guys that have nothing in common with me really, they're interested. It's like they're gonna live the adventure, exciting, you know, hippie, creative part of their life through me or something, you know, and it's just, it doesn't work like that. I want a creative, interesting, self-growth oriented person in my life, you know, on the other side. So anyway, it was kind of funny, but he kept talking so long that finally I was like, actually, I need to shut this window because it's just getting too cold. So let's see. Those are some of my Walmart experiences from Charleston. Now, Asheville was a trip because the Walmart there is attached to this city park, which was really beautiful and really quite vast. And Pai Mei and I, when we went to Walmart, when we went to Asheville, yeah, we didn't even go to Asheville. We went to Walmart in Asheville. And it's really not even in Asheville. It was just outside of Asheville. And in fact, it felt completely different from like downtown Asheville or West Asheville. And it had that beautiful park attached to it. Pai Mei and I would just take tons of walks. There's old videos from that. And you know, I got stuck there. As soon as I got there, I met someone to go look at their room, and they also were a merchant marine, and they were about to leave their house for like 5 months. Possibly they needed a house sitter, you know, so I was like, And the guy said the hill wasn't that big. It was like that for like 3 miles. There was one spot where it gave you a chance to, but it was like the steepest road I've ever been on. And after that, the van didn't do so well for a while. And that's one of the reasons I just stayed in this Walmart for so long. Like, it seemed, I think, like a month and a half. And it would just get online, and then I'd go over to there was a PetSmart there. There was a shipping place there. There was the park. There was a river running through the park that I could jump in. So for those of you that have been watching my channel for a while, you know what I'm talking about. Pai Mei and I were there for a while. I wouldn't say I was super happy. It was bloody hot. I had expected Asheville to be a lot cooler, and we were just dying, and that park was like a heaven sent. So there was no reason for me to leave. Plus, it had the cheapest food. I actually moved my entire life into a van and moved up to Asheville with 200 bucks. Don't try it. And I survived. But it took a while to get out of there, and I tried to work with mechanics. I got some money at some point to get some stuff done, but I never really did figure out the van. Ended up just getting myself out of there. And one of the ways I did it, I had no sales coming in, or like really, I barely had anything in my store because I was all built up with all these custom orders, which I couldn't complete. And I left with nothing for sale in my store, really. I think there were 18 items. And they were all the dregs that nobody wanted already. So the way that I got out of there really was I panhandled. Yep. I, Julia Scott, panhandled. Never done that before. You know, I've been around low-income people my whole life. But my level of pride is just like, oh, no. I don't think so, you know. Well, I got out there one night with Pai Mei, and I was just like, I had my sign said, I'm embarrassed, but anything will help or something like that. And the people gave me like $94 in 2 hours. I kept running back to the van and taking a break. And eventually, even the security guard that came up and told me I couldn't do that. And I was like, there were just hundreds of homeless people everywhere in Asheville, especially at that Walmart. I was like, these people are doing this all the time. I said, look, I got to get out of here, and this is my ticket out. I said, do whatever you got to do. Unless you're going to haul me away right now, I'm going to do it, and just for a little bit longer. So he ended up pulling back around, and I was like, oh, no. And he hands me 14 bucks, the security guard. And I was like, man. So then I kept panhandling. for a little bit longer, and then I got the intuition it was time to go. So Pai Mei and I went, and sure enough, two cop cars pulled up after we were already in the van hidden with our $94 and like a bag of food. And I had this weird couple that offered me like to come up and live in their place and have a job, just like on the fly. I don't know them or anything. It was really weird. And later they texted me and I was like, oh no, I don't think that's gonna work out, thanks. Following my intuition. He just went off. He told me they had wanted to have a threesome with me. And when I said no, they went off on me. You know, you suck. I'm going to sit down and watch my big TV screen. And, you know, you're a homeless bum and all this stuff. And I just said, I don't like TV. So anyway, I met some weird people there. I got stuck there for a while. And I actually panhandled, and that's what got me out of there. Pai Mei and I left, went to downtown Asheville, and I made my first van life video since we got to Asheville. The thing I didn't do for you was the whole van packed up, leaving at midnight in the middle of a giant thunderstorm from Charleston, because I really couldn't show you that, right? So anyway, the Asheville Walmart, whoa, I can't even believe. So the other thing that, I told you there was homeless people there, but they also had like a big camp at some point in what was a giant bamboo forest. There were bamboo that were like a half to 3/4 of a foot in width. And there was this giant bamboo forest back in the back of that park. And you would look up and it was this beautiful place, and you would look down. Practically the entire floor of the forest was covered in trash, clothing, beer bottles, and total filth. And I always thought to myself, I don't care who you are. You could be homeless. You could be a wealthy billionaire. How can you live like this? You don't have to have money to clean up your trash. So this is like a deficit of the spirit, not a deficit of money. You see, this person, even if they had money, would still have this other deficit that they would need. The money wouldn't take care of it. Oh my God. And I vowed to clean it all up. I didn't. Stuff happened in my life, kept me from being free and doing what leaving or coming when I wanted to go. So, yeah, that bamboo forest and the homeless people back there. And one time I was sitting on the bench with Pai Mei nearby, and these 3 homeless guys came up. I was sitting there crocheting, getting ready to sell these hats. And these 3 homeless guys came up and made like a half moon around me. And they sort of like leaned in, and they were pretty tight and close. And they're like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Are you okay, baby? And like, do you need any help? Here, you want a cigarette? And I'm going, oh, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. And they're like treating me like they're going to take me in, and I'm going to be one of their drunk babes. You know what I mean? Like, it's so sad. It's so sad. I don't want to talk about it anymore, but those 3 guys approached me, and I had to let them know, no, thank you. All right, I'm fine. See ya. Really got to get back to work here. You guys have a nice day. Try and be really nice so they don't like sack my van later or like or worse. And these are people who don't do anything at all. And they just beg off of other people or panhandle. And they drink excessively. And they swear and they mean it. And they talk about peace and love. It just doesn't make any sense. So there's a lot of that going on in Asheville. It was really sad. And the other thing that was going on were a bunch of people living in their cars permanently at Walmart. There weren't any that I know of that I can think of now that were doing it as a temporary measure to get back on their feet or just save some money, or they just got divorced and this was like a in-between place. They didn't know what else to do. They were all just living there in their cars. But they weren't going to work or anywhere during the day. They would literally be parked at the Walmart parking lot with the park there, not going into the park, most of them, just sitting in their cars. And people would fight for the shady spots. All day, you had to leave that Walmart by 10, and you went across to Kohl's and the Christian bookstore, and they let us park there. And they would go over there and park for the night. And then they would get up in the morning and go over to the park and park there for the day. All day, all night. Every day, every night. this one woman was going through cancer treatments, and that was one reason she was there. I think it was a money thing. But she was living there. She didn't mind, you know. So that was that. It was really weird. And the other thing that happened was I put this ad in Craigslist for help with the G20. Are there any G20 Chevy lovers out there? Come on. Oh my God, the dudes that showed up. Two different dudes, both. One guy, his van was so disgusting, I couldn't even, touch it or anything. And he tried to, ask me stuff like, do I know how to check my oil? And it didn't work out. And then there was this other guy that was helping me put my air filter on the van. And when he asked me if I wanted to get a glass of wine and see a movie, and I said no, he took off and left me there with the doghouse and everything undone, including the air filter, and took off. Then he texted me several times threatening that if I didn't give him the $6 for the air filter, that I'd better leave Asheville. And he did it in all caps. It was really, really scary. It was really freaky. Now, this has to do with the Walmart situation, but it also had to do with my energy at the time. Another story, but I helped attract these crazy people with my codependent victim energy, and that's what that attracts, is people that take advantage of you. And also just asking for help, you're going to get crazies. So for a long time, I never went back there. And I went back a couple times. There was this lovely parking spot by PetSmart, and it was all like lawn and trees. And I went back there with Paime one time. Oh yeah, I have a video about the other time when that crazy guy pulled up a chair in the middle of the night, like literally like 2:30 or something, and started playing guitar and singing really, really loud in the middle of the night. And then I came over, I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then he'd start playing again and screaming. He did that a couple times. It was that dude. But anyway, Paime and I came back over that area one time, very near before I left Asheville. Oh, and there's a lady walking around with this dog with like a rope around its neck, and it doesn't look like it's her dog. And I get out of the van, I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I just found this dog in the parking lot, and I don't know what to do, but I don't want to just let him go. I was like, oh my God, I would take him, but I have my dog in my van, and she's totally aggressive towards dogs. It was like 22 degrees out, 27 degrees out. It was freezing, this little dog. And her friends pull up, and they're like, we got to go, Carrie. It's time to go. Let that dog go. You've done what you can do. And she's like tearing up. Oh no, what am I going to do? And it all happened in slow motion. She like put her hand forward, and my hand went forward, and I took the rope, and I took the dog, and she went off with her friend. Totally happened in slow-mo. It was a trip. I had the dog in my hand. There's my dog, Paime, in the van. She's not going to put up with any of that. It's 27 degrees out. So I go back to the van, I get the dog some water, and I decide we're going to find her owner. So we start walking around, and I, ask this lady, do you have a smartphone? We can contact the local animal people. And she was like, oh, I can't really help you. And I go to the dog, I go, show me, boy, show me. And he takes off running this way, so I follow him. And he goes all the way to the back of this building where I think his owner must have parked earlier and did who knows what. And when no one was there, I was like, boy, come on. And he starts going towards the front of Walmart. And I'm like, good, okay. And I can contact somebody there that'll help me or something. Or maybe I can find the person. And this red truck pulls up, this big, country truck. Pulls up, and the guy goes, oh my God, thank God, my wife would have killed me, he says. So, and the dog runs up, and I'm like, oh, thank God, this is your dog, okay. Yeah, and he's like, thank you, and everything, and the dog hops in with the other dog. There had been two dogs running around, actually, and I'd seen the first one, I forgot to show you, but he was too scared, and he ran up into that's why I got out of the dog and saw the other gal with the dog, yeah, because I saw that first dog. So yeah, that happened. That was one of the last times I went over there in Asheville. Now, since I've been back in Charleston at this same one, like, oh my God, my California accent comes out sometimes, like Valley Girl. Yeah, recently these dudes pulled up near me, and like 6 guys hop out of this tiny little Toyota vehicle and they open up the back. I'm like, oh no, we got hanger outers. They don't understand. You're just supposed to park, keep it on the low down. And they pull out all this stuff. They're pulling out camping gear to go into the Walmart forest and set up camp for the night. And they're not being quiet about it. So I just decided to repark. I just reparked on the other side of the lot. So that happened recently. And I told you about the guy in the 1977 Dodge van. It was really cool to see the purple carpeting on the inside. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of different kinds of cool vehicles over there. Everything from, it was a mini short school bus, multicolor painting, painted in multicolor with a smokestack and smoke coming out of it because it was winter. It was so cute, and a hippie dude with long hair was in there. Talked with him for a bit. I saw one recently that was pretty multicolor, and it said the potato truck or something in weird psychedelic letters. I've seen all kinds of RVs, and recently a cool German couple with an awesome Toyota like minivan thing. It was really cool. And I started talking with them. They're like, Deutsch, I don't understand much English. And I was like, I like your van. So let's see, there's that. Who else did I see? Oh, there's this gold van, and there's this one super awesome parking spot. It's like in the shade. It's tilted at such an angle that you're almost parked with trees all around you, except for the back. But I don't take it every night because that would be rude, right? So at some point, this gold van figures this spot out, and I'm like, oh no, they're gonna take it every night. They're just gonna, it's gonna be their new spot. I'll never get here on time to get it. And they didn't end up doing that. It kind of flipped back and forth for a while. Some employees got it now, seems to be. But I'm in the library one day and I'm talking to this lady that I've now talked with a couple times. She works online as well. And we're talking, and I don't know how it came up, but she goes, yeah, I think we've parked near each other before. And I was like, what? You? I said, stop. I go, I really have to go to the bathroom, but I'm just going to sit down for a second. What vehicle is yours? Is it the gold one? She's like, yeah. I was like, but there's 2 gold ones. I couldn't figure out who was who. Oh, I'm so glad it's you and not some crazy person or some scary person, someone scary to me. And so I met her, and she was a psychologist. Let's see, something in that field. I'm always meeting psychologists, go figure. So, yeah, that was a recent thing. And then experiences. Oh, my God. I didn't tell you the most scary experience that happened. Now you have to stay. I'll edit out other parts to make it shorter. Oh, my God. So when Pai Mei and I came down to Walmart, down to Charleston in May? November? I can't remember. I got to do this one in private. We're parked, and this lady pulls up about 7 a.m. in this red hot rod vehicle. She's wearing all black. She's this tiny little black woman. She's like in her 30s or something. And she's blasting the radio. I mean, it's at 11 Spinal Tap. You know what I'm saying? And I just could not believe that she didn't have the kids. So all these people sleeping. It's 7 in the morning on a weekday, on a work night. And I actually got out of my van. This is after everything I went through in Asheville, not knowing how to keep my mouth shut. I got out of my van and I went about halfway over to her. I said, hey, would you mind just turning that down a little bit? And she goes, this is a Walmart parking lot. This is a Walmart parking lot. And she's running from the side of the car to the other side of the car and fiddling with this and fiddling with that. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of sketchy. I'm not talking to really a healthy person here, I don't think. And I was pretty upset, too, because I was awoken out of sleep. So you know how you are in the morning like that? Get woken up. Yeah, I know how I am. And so I just turned around and I started to walk back. And I was like, God, that's crazy. And she did turn it down a little bit, so I thought everything was cool. So I go back to sleep, probably. Pai Mei was still there. And the next night, or 2 or 3 nights after that, I'm parked there, and I'm woken up to a car parked just speeding right into the spot next to me. And the radio goes on. 11, Spinal Tap. Right next to me. Actually, there was a spot in between. And I got up, I said, oh, hell to the no. This is not happening. And I admitted I got angry. And I went up to the front and I saw it was her and I got angry. I could not believe it. I did not have my senses about me, people. Wait. Sorry, creatures. I'll be gone in a minute. And I did not have my creatures. I didn't have my sense about me. So I get out of my van. There's a crazy lady right there. She's deliberately taunting me. She just parked next to me and turned up the radio because I asked her to turn it down the other night. And by the way, when I did that, a guy popped out of his truck and said, thank you, and then closed his truck again. And, you know, I've done that a lot before where I'm the one to say something and other people are like, thanks for saying something. They didn't want to, you know, and I did. But I've learned since how risky that can be, and you got to choose your battles. And that people are nutso. People are nuts. That's what my Asheville experience taught me. Not that everyone in Asheville is nutso, just my experience with one particular person taught me a whole lot. Thank you very much. So I get out of my van, and I go, hey! And I walk sort of up to her, and she's just calmly standing there. And I get it, and I go, no. And I walk back, and she starts coming at me, punching my face. She punched me in the face. She kicked me. I'm like trying to get back to the van. Do you think Paime's trying to save me? Paime's sitting in the front seat. She's stressed. She's not barking or doing anything. Not really a security guard Paime dog. Not really. A deterrent visually, but not when it comes down to it. This lady actually attacked me. I know it sounds like I'm making light of it. It wasn't light at the time. It scared the heck out of me. It really hurt me physically and emotionally. And I don't think I ever told you guys this. And so this is what I attracted and then what I interacted with. And I'm not kidding. I'm at fault here in part. It's not a fault. It's just an energetic thing. If I'm attracting that, I'm attracting that. Or I'm not going away from it fast enough, or I'm involving myself where I shouldn't. You know. So I'm not taking it light. I'm just telling you the story. This lady literally starts punching me. And for some reason, this has happened twice where I've been attacked like that before, except for I also was in junior high. So it's like, I'm telling you, there's a thing called victim energy. And if you have it, you will be attacked emotionally, psychologically, or physically. Never had a boyfriend or anything like that physically tried to hurt me or anything. I've never had that. My mom did. So anyway, so what happened the last time this happened to me and this time is I just go into this blocking mode. I'm like blocking it. Psh, psh, psh. I'm running for my life and trying to get back to safety. I do not hit back. Like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how that works. That's not what I do. And so I'm like blocking this lady, but she got me a couple times on my face and my body somewhere. And she had these mad, crazy eyes. They were like all yellow and then black pupils. It was really, really freaking me out. And she threatened to get me with a knife. So at some point I almost want to laugh. It sounds funny, but it was not funny, as you can tell. I mean, this doesn't happen to you every day, does it? You get attacked by crazy people in a Walmart parking lot? No, this is me. This is what happened to me. So I finally get up in the seat of the van, almost, and she's pulling me back out. And at that point, a pillow dropped out, and I must have got her away, and then I grabbed the pillow, and I used the pillow to block the blows. And I got into the van, I slammed the door and locked it. And I was sitting in that seat, I was going, I was like catching my breath, and she's outside. She's not right outside my window, she's more by her car. And she's going, yeah, oh yeah, how you like that? You know, I bet you're not coming at me now. You know, I bet you're afraid now, or whatever. Oh my God. And I thought to myself, well, I fake called the police, and then she fake called the police, and then she took off because she's a total crackhead. Crazy. She attacked me. Everybody saw it too. There was a commotion, so they saw it, you know. So after I left and was done shaking and catching my breath, making sure Paime was okay, I was so scared, and I thought to myself, did I really just get myself in a situation like this again? Which is what happened in Asheville before, like a situation that it wasn't so much I was being attacked, it was like a situation that I shouldn't have gotten involved in the first place. That's what happened. Oh my God, it sounds so sad. I feel kind of like I've changed, but really, I'm still working on it. So I'm doing really, really good though, if I do say so myself. There have been numerous situations that weirdness was attracted to me or something that didn't feel right that I've now said no to, backed away from, not afraid to say no. Um, I'm not closed off and mean. I'm just a lot more careful and a lot less angry. I'm also, like I say, through the process of observing myself when the feelings come up in the first place, instead of reacting, I'm observing and deciding whether I want to react or not. And of course you don't. If you get a chance to decide you don't want to react, because you're an adult, you realize it's just, you want the peaceful way, So, check out these clouds if you can see them. It's really, it's really, really naughty out here. Thank you, creatures. All right, I'm going to let you go. This has been an incredibly long video. I apologize. I will edit some out, even this part here. Why am I even... Okay. I want to thank you for watching this video. I guess it was about more than Walmart. I didn't realize that story. It's quite a profound story about the fact that I was attacked. Have you ever been attacked? It's really a demeaning, awful experience. I hope you never are if you haven't. Yeah. All right, thanks for watching my videos. More coming up. Have a beautiful day. Wow.